Good morning, boys. Today we are starting the topic of algebraic equations. We've already done algebraic expression, but an expression, an equation is like an expression, but an expression does not have an equal sign, whereas an algebraic equation should have an equal sign. In fact, an equation is a mathematical statement with an equals sign. And so this creates two sides. Side A is equal to side B. The word equation, part of it, is similar to the word equate. So to remember it, the word equation itself indicates that an equation should have an equal sign, okay? Now, boys, there are two types of equations. There are numerical equations. For example, 2 plus 3 is equal to 5. They are called numerical because they contain only number terms. And there are algebraic equations which involve letter terms and may also involve number terms. For example, x plus 7 is equal to 23. We have the x as the letter term, and we have plus 7 and positive 23 as a number term. And another example is 2x plus 5 is equal to 17. We have the 2x as the letter term, and then we have the plus 5 and the positive 17, which are the number terms. Now, when we are given algebraic equations, we are asked to solve an equation. Now, solving an equation, what does that mean? It means figuring out what that unknown value is. For example, what is A? What is the value of A? What is the value of B? What is the value of X? Okay? The value of the unknown letter. Now, how can we solve an equation? Now, to solve an equation, we need to rearrange the equation until we have the unknown value all by itself on one side of the equation. For example, in the above algebraic example equations, we will have x on its own in x plus 7 is equal to 23. And in 2x plus 5 is equal to 17, we first have to bring 2x on its own, and then eventually we need to bring x on its own because that is the unknown value, x. Now, to rearrange the equation and to be able to bring the unknown value all by itself, it is very important to understand that an equation is like a balanced scale, okay? A balanced scale where one side is equal to the other, okay? Where one side, like in a balanced scale. Now, a balanced scale is when there's the same amount of weight on each side, all right? Where there is the same value, all right? Be it weight, it can be anything. But the important thing is that there is the same amount on each side. If there's the same amount on each side, then the sides are balanced. Then we can say that we have a balanced scale. The sides are balanced. But if we add one weight to one side, then the two sides will be no longer balanced. Okay, as you can see from the picture, on the left hand side we have 3 blocks, let's say. On the right hand side there is just one block. So if there's not the same weight on each side, then the sides would be no longer balanced, and they are not balanced actually. So to balance them again, we must add the same either weight or number, depending what it is, to each side. So to balance them again, we must add the same weight or number to each side, okay? Now, when we say this, the sides are balanced, okay, this does not mean that the two sides need to look alike, but the two sides need to have the same value. For example, if we have on one side we have 1 plus 1 and on the other side we have 2, then the two sides are balanced. Why? Because 1 plus 1 as a value, alright? 1 plus 1 as a value is equal to 2, which is equal to the 2 on the right hand side, okay, on the other side. As we said, there's the same value on both sides, so we can say that the two sides are in balance. Now, as we said earlier, remember to keep both sides balanced. We need to do the same change to both sides, okay? Earlier we said that if we add something to one side, then we need to add that same something to the other side, okay? So, in the equation, side 1 is equal to side 2 or side A is equal to side B, alright? If we multiply side 1 by 2, then we need to multiply side 2 by 2 also, okay? If we subtract 5 from side 1, then we need to subtract 5 from side 2 as well, okay? If we divide side 1 by 10, then we need to divide side 2 by 10 as well, okay? So what is done on one side needs to be done also to the other side to keep the sides in balance. Now, as we said earlier, we need to bring the unknown on its own in the equation to solve the equation, to be able to figure out what that unknown value is. To arrive at that step, we may need to undo certain mathematical operations to bring the unknown value on its own. Now, to undo a mathematical operation, we need to do the opposite mathematical operation. For example, if we need to remove an addition, then we need to do a subtraction to remove that addition. If we need to remove a subtraction, then we need to do the opposite of mathematical operation, and we need to add both sides by a number, okay? If we need to remove multiplication by a number, then we need to divide both sides by that number. If we need to remove a division by a number, then we need to multiply both sides by that number, okay? Now, let's try to solve the following examples to check whether we have understood and if we have not understood clear. Now with the examples, we would manage to understand much better. So let's say that in example 1 we have a plus 5 is equal to negative 5, and we need to solve that equation, so we need to bring a on its own. Now, to bring a on its own, since on the side of a there's also a plus 5, we need to remove that plus 5, and we remove that plus 5 by subtracting 5 on both sides. If we subtract 5 from both sides, we end up with a plus 5 minus 5, we end up with a, because 5 minus 5 is equal to 0, which is equal. And on the right hand side, on side 2, we have negative 5 minus 5. Now, we owe money only. On the right hand side, we do not have a plus sign, so we only owe money. We do not have anything in our pocket, so we owe €5 from the first shop, we owe another €5 from the second, so we owe 10 euro in all. Since we owe 10 euro in all, then A is equal to negative 10. If we need to check our answer, we need to substitute A by negative 10 in the equation. So let's check. Instead of A, I'm going to write negative 10. Then we have plus 5. And on the right hand side, we have a negative 5. Now, if the left hand side of the equation becomes equal to the right hand side of the equation when I work it out, then my answer is correct. So let's see. Negative 10 plus 5. I owe 10 euro, I only have 5 euro in my pocket, so I give that 5 euro, but I need to still give back another 5. I still owe 5 euro. So on the left hand side I have negative 5. On the right hand side I have also a negative 5. Since both sides are equal, then my answer is correct. Okay? Now, example 2. B minus 3 is equal to negative 4. To solve that equation, we must bring B on its own in that equation. So we must remove the minus 3. To remove the minus 3, we need to add both sides by 3. So on the left hand side, I end up with B minus 3 plus 3. That becomes equal to B equals negative 4 plus 3 on the right hand side. I owe 4 euro, I have only 3 in my pocket. I give back those 3, I still owe 1 euro. So our B is equal to negative 1. If I need to check, then I substitute B by negative 1 in the equation. So checking. Negative 1 minus 3. Negative 1 and negative 3. In all, I have a negative 4. Okay, so since I only owe money, on the right hand side, I have a negative 4. Since the left hand side is equal to the right hand side, my answer is correct. Now, the third example, I have 2c is equal to negative 8. Now, 2c means 2 times c is equal to negative 8. 2 times c. To remove that times 2, I need to divide both sides by 2. So I divide by 2 on the left hand side. I divide by 2 the right hand side. I can cancel the 2 with the 2 on the left hand side. I can cancel the 2 with the 8 on the right hand side. Remember that the 2 was positive. So my answer C is equal to negative division by a positive. The answer is negative. 4 division by 1, the answer is 4. So C is equal to negative 4. If I check my answer, 2C means 2 times negative 4. The 2 has a positive sign in front of it, so positive times a negative, the answer is negative. 2 times 4 is 8. On the right hand side, I have negative 8. Since the left hand side is equal to the right hand side, my answer is correct. Example 4. I need to solve a all over 5 is equal to negative 8. To remove that division by 5, I need to multiply both sides by 5. So it becomes a all over 5 equals negative 8, and I multiply both sides by 5. Now, I can cancel the 5 with the 5. On the left hand side, I end up with a times 1 all over 1, it is a. Now, in front of the 5, there is a positive. So, negative times a positive, the answer is negative. 8 5s are 40. If I need to check my answer, instead of a, I'm going to write negative 40, so I'm substituting a by negative 40. Division by 5. On the right hand side, I have negative 8. In front of the 5, there's a positive sign, invisible positive sign, and negative division by a positive, the answer is negative. 40 division by 5, it's 8. Since the left hand side is equal to the right hand side, then my answer is correct. Example 5, we have 3 minus b is equal to 6. Now, when we are asked to solve an equation, we need to bring the unknown value on its own, but the unknown value needs to be positive, okay? I need a positive b, so let's write it down. I need positive b or b, not a negative b. So I need to remove that negative b from there, and to remove that negative b from there, I need to do the opposite mathematical operation. Instead of a negative b, I'm going to add a b to both sides. So the equation becomes 3 minus b is equal to 6. And as I said, I'm going to add a b to both sides. Now, the equation becomes 3 is equal to 6 plus b. Now, it's a very similar equation to examples 1 and 2. I need to bring b on its own, so I need to remove that 6. To remove that 6, I need to subtract 6 from both sides. So, positive 3 minus 6, it's negative 3 is equal to 6 minus 6 is 0, so we end up with b on the right hand side. So my answer is negative 3 is equal to b, or b is equal to negative 3. It means the same thing. Now let's check. To check, I substitute b with negative 3 in the equation. Now we have this 3 minus, the b is negative, boys, so I open a bracket, negative 3 on the right hand side, I have a 6. Now, the minus in front of a bracket changes the negative sign so that it becomes a positive. So I end up with 3 plus 3. 3 plus 3 is 6. Since the left hand side is equal to the right hand side, then my answer is correct. Okay? So for today, we've done one operation equations, solving one operation equations. The equations that we've done today had only one mathematical operations. Okay, now you should find your homework, boys, on Clicks, which you need to download, and then do the working and the answer, and then upload again on Clicks itself. Okay, that's all for today now, boys. Take care.